other side.
You should really give us money.
Welcome, everyone. It's the 4th and 1 podcast, anchor.fm/4th and 1, or find us on Spotify by searching 4th and 1 podcast. Welcome to this week's show. Simeon, everyone can hear you breathe, so either breathe quieter or move the mic away. Thank you.
Does that sound better?
Yeah, a little bit. How are we doing today?
Well, I mean, I'm wearing my gaming headset because my thing isn't doing too well, and by my thing, I mean my audio interface, so...
Because thing can mean a lot of things.
Things can mean a lot of
But
things.
one
so...
thing in particular.
Yeah, so I'm doing okay. My hair's sticking out in my hat here. I couldn't wear it frontwards because it shadows on my face, and I don't have good lighting in the room. Took a shower, which is good.
Oh, that's good. I'm currently sitting on the last 2 inches of my couch in order to get a good picture from my webcam because I don't have Zoom ability. So it looks like we're both kind of on the struggle bus, but guess what? That's how committed we are to making this a heck of a podcast, my dude.
The worst podcast in the history of podcasts.
The worstest podcast on the interwebs.
Can you still hear me breathing?
I cannot.
Okay, good. We're good. But you can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay.
So, we are the worstest podcast on the interwebs. Again, everyone, this is 4th and 1. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are coming to you from Lidditz, Pennsylvania, as always, the town known for having the most steps in inner city, approximately 5,482 steps.
Did you count them all?
You bet your bottom dollar I did every single one of them.
Got it. That's a little bit weird. We're going to start off with... We got some breaking news today. Should be interesting out of the soccer world.
Lionel Messi.
It looks like Lionel. But I don't know. It's probably pronounced differently in Spanish. Will be leaving his club of 21 years in Barcelona. I know we're starting with soccer on the football podcast. So his last contract was worth about
$600 million.
Yeah. So
and that isn't an exaggeration. It actually was $600 million.
It was $500 million. He's leaving due to economic reasons. A lot of people getting picked off from getting bought out, transferred out of Barcelona. I guess from what ESPN's reading, they just weren't able to afford him for what he wanted. And right now, it's unsure where he's going to go. However, top 2 spots, big 2 spenders, Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain are the best 2 landing spots. And little update here before we let Micaiah talk is I have a slap bet going on with my best friend that if Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi come over to the United States to basically retire, that I get to slap him. So I'm holding out hope for the 0.0001% chance that he actually ends up signing with an American club.
So either one of they just have to come over at some point, either one of them, and play soccer.
Yes.
Well, it was
for an MLS club.
Well, it was being discussed that Messi, when originally he was in original talks with Man City, that they were going to give him like a 6-year deal, and the last 2 years he would actually come over here for an absurd amount of money and play for the New York team.
One of the New York teams, probably New York FC.
Yes, I believe so. It's the same owner owns both, or is part owner of both.
Okay,
so,
nice.
No, that's a pretty good bet, and I think you're going to win that.
Yeah, I don't know. But basically, if either of them retires without coming over here, he gets to slap me. So
wait, if either of them retires with it, or both of them retire without coming over here?
Both of them retire without coming
over
here.
I think you're sitting peachy right there. I really do.
I mean, it's 50-50 in my opinion. Given how the more soccer talk, again, sorry, this is Simeon's spot, and we'll let Micaiah talk. The United States basically Youth League beat Mexico's A team in the CONCACAF
Gold Cup.
which is, if you guys remember, it's like the Euros. I think we talked a little bit about that with Alex a few podcasts ago. It's basically it's kind of like the Euros, but not really, because, well, no, it's kind of like it is the Euros, except instead of being in the Europe-based, it's the confederation of basically.
It's basically North and
here.
South America and Central America.
And America did not put on their A team to play because rest mostly. And I think the coach, this is me just speculating, I think the coach really just wanted to try out a bunch of young players because he wants to get past the first round of knockouts in the World Cup, and obviously they have to qualify first. So those are kind of the big news in the soccer world. Now we can talk about things
that everyone we can talk about things that everyone cares about now.
Yep.
So I do want to, and we did promise some people on our last video. We got some good interaction. I do want to go over the comments.
Let's do
we will. First, I would like to do, however, the news. The highlights from the previous week. There were a bunch of highlights, so I just want to catch everyone up on what's been happening the past 2 weeks or so. So, let's get it rolling. In what is being described by ESPN as an act of heroism that only mirrors the pilot who landed that plane on the Hudson, Simone Biles came back from a bout of the twisties, which is a serious medical condition. Really, it sounds like gymnastics version of vertigo, where you lose all sense of where you are in space and spatial awareness. She suffered that during the team, and then was out for a whole bunch of the rest of the team events, almost all of the individual events, but came back for the balance beam and got bronze in the balance beam. Again, I am not mocking Simone Biles in any way in saying that is an act of heroism. I am mocking ESPN and all sports coverage of this because it does say, because, you know, she was basically injured with a physical ailment, sort of, and then she came back and, you know, she was an athlete. However, I will say this to Simone. She has been criticized through this process, which I think is asinine in and of itself. However, I will give her one critique, as it were. She has been heralded as the greatest gymnast, there's the word, of all time, not only by other gymnasts and people in the gymnastic world, but also by herself. And she said that when this happened and when she was receiving the maximum amount of criticism, that she... Silence your phones, everyone. We are at the movies. That she doesn't have to explain her body and her illness to anyone. And I will give you a critique, Simone. Since you are being heralded the greatest of all time and you have heralded yourself, you do actually have to explain your illnesses to people, because that is the standard that the media and that particularly the sports media holds you to. We hold Tom Brady to that. We hold Patrick Mahomes to that. We hold Mike Trout to that. You have to explain your illness. Why are you injured? How long will you be injured for? And when are you coming back? And can you compete at the highest level when you come back? It goes across all sports, from NASCAR to baseball to college football, and now the NFL. You have to explain your illness, and you have to do it over and over and over and over again. So you are you shouldn't have to, Simone. I do agree, but you want to be held to the same standards as the greatest of all time in other sports. You have to explain your illnesses in depth over and over again.
Real quick, is this the same issue? Is this the same answer that you're having with Naomi Osaka?
Hers, yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be a professional, you have to, in Naomi's case, it was media. It's media driven. She didn't feel like answering questions and taking questions from reporters and things like that. And she felt like the mental heaviness on her. Same with Simone. And if you're going to be a professional athlete, you sign a contract in most cases. If you're a part of the league, most leagues make you have to do like press. And so if you want to be a professional athlete, there's a lot of responsibilities that come with that. And so, yes, you just have to, it's one of those things that you have to do. Or you can step away like Naomi did for a little bit and then just work on your mental health, which I think everyone should, and move on from there.
Alrighty.
Aaron Rodgers is finally back in the Sega that only matches, let's see here, Star Wars. The Star Wars Sega, but is a...
Saga? Sega?
Saga?
Sega is Sega Genesis. I think you mean Saga.
I mean Sega because I can say whatever I want because it's my podcast. So in the Sega that only matches Star Wars, Aaron Rodgers decided to report to training camp. Now, the Packers did void. He had originally had 3 more years left on his deal. They voided the 2023 year, so that means he is under contract with the Packers this year and 2022. However, Aaron Rodgers got reassurance that at the end of the year, if he did not want to be there, that he would that the Packers would trade him, basically, or release him or something. They also made a trade to bring back Randall Cobb to kind of make him a little happier. So this is basically Aaron Rodgers, unless if they win the Super Bowl, and even I could see then him moving on. Aaron Rodgers this is his final year in Green Bay. And so he went on he did an interview his first day in training camp, about 20 minutes long, in which people thought he was just bashing Green Bay. I didn't think he bashed Green Bay at all. He spoke very open and honestly. He was well articulated. He was very smart with everything he said. He threw no one under the bus. And he basically just said, I wanted to be used more in our personnel decisions, and I thought that I could be of great help, if not in getting an opinion, but then being able to recruit guys to come here. And why that is a little bit throwing upper management under the bus, I think that was more of, I am the most valuable player in 2019, 2011, and 2014, and they didn't use me, and I'm hurt by that. And I think what he said was fair. Again, he didn't point out specific people, and he definitely didn't say, well, the head coach and the play calling and the GM they're just terrible, and that's why I went out. He was very well spoken. I'm okay with Aaron wanting out. It's very rare to finish your career with the same franchise you started with without leaving it. Like, some guys will leave and then come back and be there for a day and then retire, right, like Jerry Rice with the 49ers. But Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, now Matt Stafford, Carson Wentz is gone and now hurt again, which is a whole nother issue. No one finishes. LeBron, D. Wade even left Miami, went to Chicago, came back. No one
went to Chicago, went to Cleveland.
Went to Cleveland, came back. No one finishes. Rarely, no one finishes their career where they started. Kobe and Michael, even Michael didn't. Kobe and Dirk Nowitzki, those are really
Tim Duncan. Those are the
and Tim Duncan. Yes, yeah, they are more the exception. They are not the rule. The MLB trade deadline came and went during our 2-week.
Well, Dick, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning.
I played that sarcastically just for you.
Alrighty. Thank you. Came and went during our 2-week hiatus. A record 10 All-Stars from 2021 were traded at the trade deadline. Basically, the rich got richer, the poor got poorer. The Nationals and Cubs basically traded away their entire teams. The Dodgers got a All-Star shortstop. They now have an All-Star a all-star from at least the last 3 years, I believe, at every single position but catcher. They also got Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. The Dodgers are gearing up for another World Series run, and at this point, I'm not sure who else could stop them now that they have the pitching. The Cubs traded away basically their entire any core that was left from the 2017 or 2018 World Series team. The Yankees got more of what they already have. A lot of home runs, but also a lot of strikeouts. The Red Sox picked up another power hitter. The Tampa Bay Rays, instead of trading away all of their pieces, actually traded for someone, which was interesting to see. And the Blue Jays got more hitting and some more pitching. So again, we don't cover baseball here a whole lot, but it made big news because so many big names moved at the trade deadline. You see this a lot in baseball. When you're at the bottom of the barrel, you want to stay there to get as many draft picks as you can and prospects so that you can rebuild quicker. And so that's what a lot of the bottom feeders did, being the Cubs and the Nationals. And finally, Texas and Oklahoma both were extended and then accepted an invitation. Well, I guess it's backwards. They extended, permission to join the SEC, and in unanimous decisions, the Board of Regents for the SEC accepted both their whatever you want to call it, and so now starting July request. Okay, you know what? We're the worstest podcast on the interwebs. I don't have to know words. Okay?
My name is Jeff.
Wow, that's a new one, actually. That's good.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, thanks. It actually kind of fits there.
It does. They will now be the current plan is they will now join the SEC July 1st of 2025, and let's just leave off the highlights from the past week right there, and I want to just jump right into that. Can you pull the comments up, because from last week's video as well, and we'll get into that. But what I will say is, so their contract technically starts July 1st, 2025. That is when the TV contracts for the Big 12 for both Texas and Oklahoma run out. They technically run out the day before June 30th, 2025. I'm going to say this. It would be approximately $75 million, we covered this, for them to buy out the rest of their contracts and join the SEC early. That is going to happen. You can put a pin in it, especially since if the Big 12 gets left out of the college football playoff another year. Now, Oklahoma's been a good representative, but they were left out last year, and each year Oklahoma does join. They just haven't been able to compete with the SEC. Offensively, they have, but not defensively. So we'll see if that changes anytime. However, I am guessing, and I said this when this happened, that in 2023, this will take into effect 2023. So this will not go into effect this year or next year, but 2023, they will eventually buy out, each one will buy out their $75 million contract and join the SEC 2 years early. Could be wrong, but that is, it's almost like your spouse coming to you and telling you, we're getting divorced in 5 years, when this guy who's in the Army gets out of the Navy SEALs and he's big and he's jacked and I'm going to go join him. So in 5 years, we're getting divorced. That's just not good. Knowing a divorce is coming never ends well. The athletic director for Texas, who is who is the member representing the Big 12 for the College Football Playoff Committee, has already been replaced with TCU's athletic director. So again, you can see it's already happening. I'm giving it 2 years, and in 2023 they will join the SEC. That is only my guess. So yeah, it's big news. Now we are talking about the AAC. It came out today. We're trying to poach 5 Big 12 teams. Kansas and Kansas State have already reached out to the Big 10. the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are talking about joining to just basically make that the Pac-12 massive. It would basically extend from the Pacific Coast to West Virginia at this point. So, again, there's more to come with this, but this college football season won't be interesting. It'll be the main talking point the first couple of weeks until the games really get going, and then we'll find other things to talk about. But I do just want to touch on some of the comments that we got from our videos last week. So thank you everyone who commented on our videos. It was the most we've ever had. It wasn't just our mother this time. We were very excited about it. We, did some happy dances. So let's get into those. I will answer some of these, or not answer because they're not really questions, but they are statements.
We want to comment on them for sure.
We're going to comment on the comment
because there was some good ones. They basically, no offense, y'all said the same thing.
Okay? And they all said the same thing as us as well.
Yeah, and a few different things, a few different ways. I guess we can just kind of start with
first and foremost, and this is what the majority of the comments is about. We know this is all about money. 100% dollar bills, dollar bills, dollar bills.
Yeah.
Yo. That is all that this is about. Texas and Oklahoma are basically saying, screw rivalries. We only care about each other. And as long as we get to keep playing each other in the Red River rivalry every year, we out. Peace. And just flip the middle bird like I did to my camera and basically are hightailing it out of there. All right, go ahead.
Fun fact for you, Texas has the third largest endowment in the world.
Right, which is why the $75 million buyout won't be an issue. The thing is, it's Oklahoma who is going to hold that process if there is a hold up because they want to leave together.
$1.3 billion.
Right. So I mean, it's chump change.
36, that is. I mean, we're talking less than the % of their endowment that they would have to pay in order to do this. But you're a nonprofit. You can't lose money. You can't make money. You have to basically show up net zero for the year.
So again, that's why I say 2 years, when that number is going to come down low enough where all the money they will get from the SEC TV rights will kick in and cover that.
A couple things for Zach's here. I don't know. We're going to start with Zach. Zach Hale, shout out. I necessarily wouldn't say that UT and OU are necessarily recruiting Alabama A&M. The SEC basically. I do agree that the move will only help now because they're in the SEC and A&M has gone in the middle of the road. Big 12 competing for SEC. Competing is a loose term there. But he brings up the recruiting class. When you're in a different conference, you're recruiting different styles of players and different players. When you're recruiting in Texas as the Big Ten, Michigan has plenty. We're Michigan players. Michigan fans. Michigan has plenty of Texas recruits. Ohio State has plenty of Texas recruits. Florida recruits, same sort of deal. But it's you have a different culture. The SEC has its own culture to be upheld. Which Texas can bring. Texas is a hot girl, but she's been with the same guy for 6 years. So there's no, like, oh my gosh, she's starting to hang out with us. It's more of like she's starting to hang out with us, and she's bringing her, friend with her, her husband with her. There's no. I don't know why I went with this for an analogy.
I don't either. What I will say to kind of get us back on the road, he says. The SEC will only help because A&M went from the middle of the road to the Big 12 to competing at the SEC. No. I mean, yes and no. No, yes, as in they did do that, but no, as in they got better coaches. They started pouring money into the football program.
And you also have to remember, you're moving, because it's about money, you're moving from... Football is more important in the SEC.
Right.
That's
Texas will no longer be the biggest spenders in their conference. They are it's going to be Alabama, A&M, LSU, Ole Miss. They're going to have competition.
They'll have competition. The only thing that happens here for the SEC is you're adding Oklahoma to the list of 3 teams that could win the conference. 2 teams. Because currently, let's go back and look. Georgia can't get past anything. South Carolina.
Georgia can't get past Alabama.
Only tanked. Florida's not there anymore. So it's really only been Alabama and LSU. And the only reason LSU's good is because they had a 25-year-old kid throwing the rock around. So
and a pro-style offensive coordinator running pro-football schemes and literally
with pro-football
players, right?
But I do like what you said here, and I'm not going to make it sound like we're doing a discussion board post here in college. The SEC was already considered to be primary conference, and with the possibility of adding Oklahoma and Texas, they won't even be touchable. 100% the truth. You would have to immediately, the Big Ten or the ACC would have to have 2 other national conference teams be added to the list. The thing with the SEC, and I'll add to this and then I'll let you go. Thing with the SEC, you put, if Georgia can beat Alabama, that means they can beat anybody. If Florida can beat Alabama, if you can beat Alabama, if you can beat LSU and win the SEC, you can win the national championship easily. That's the only thing. If you win the Big Ten, so what?
Ohio State does it every year with 2 hands tied behind its back. Absolutely. Still in that, just finishing up his. He says UT and OU owe the rest of the Big 12 schools nothing, and they are going to do what's best for them. 100% true. I completely agree. They said a couple schools should be fine, but a Baylor is more than likely done. I don't think any conference would want to get close to them, given their recent history. They've completely gone away with that. They've lost. The one year they had 1 win, and the other year they had 0. They've rebuilt that entire program. It's a whole new athletic director.
And
anyone would be lucky to have Baylor, because Baylor immediately elevates your conference.
You have to remember, we're only thinking right now, we're only thinking about football.
Right.
Basketball, other sports, totally different. Baylor's a powerhouse.
In basketball, yep.
For the past 5 years.
Yep.
You want Baylor's basketball team, because remember, these aren't just football. You can do that. North Dakota State football plays in a different conference than the rest of their teams. Right. It happens all the time, but that's not the case for these schools. These are the entire athletic associations moving, swimming, gymnastics, all other sports, all other revenue streams. Katie Ledecky went to Stanford. They're the Alabama of swimming, is my understanding.
Sure.
This is big deal. So, Zach, right, wrong, Micaiah likes it.
I don't love it. I like it. I don't love it. But let's move on to our most interactive comment by Show Me Mo. I'm going to guess that is Show Me the Mo.
Or Show Me More. Show Me More.
Show Memo. Or Show Memo.
I thought Memo?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll call him Show for short.
SEC looking at Florida State, Clemson, along with Ohio State and Michigan. That's what he says. I heard that as well, that the SEC is basically just trying to create their own big
football conference. They want to become Division 0.
They want. So I think the goal eventually is that you're going to have a couple super conferences, 3 or 4 or 2, that are going to completely break away from the NCAA, because the NCAA is now a laughing stock, especially that it came out that Mark Emmert got a raise during COVID while a whole bunch of everyone was losing money. Our dislike for Mark Emmert, he's worse than Roger Goodell, who is Thanos. Yep. So whoever the next big bad guy is that Marvel comes up with, that's who Mark Emmert is. And if they don't, then he's worse than he's whoever Thanos is scared of. Let me put it that way.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Mark Emmert is a psychopath. Goodell is Thanos because Goodell has a grip on everything and can bend stuff to his will. Mark Emmert is just the psychopath he's the Joker. Mark Emmert is the Joker. He doesn't bend stuff to his words. He just scares the living daylight out of you because of how efficient he is.
Except he's not.
Except he's not efficient.
So
neither is the Joker, technically. He's just crazy. He's the Joker. He is the Joker.
However, Show Me Mo makes a great point. makes a great point here. Also, the NCAA is gone or just manage Olympic sports with the name, face, revenue. The SEC can take control and divvy that evenly out among teams. 100% right. I mean, I literally just made this point. This point is being made this week. So, you're right on the head. And thank you so much for commenting. Listen, this is what it's about. We want kind of these comments. He says it may just be 3 super conferences as there's only so much TV revenue to go around. Yes and no. There's only so much. There's
only so much good football to go.
There's
around.
only right. I think 3 super conference. I think that is really the key. I don't think there'll be 4. I think there'll be 3 because I think that like the Big 12 will go away, and then the Big 10 will absorb like the AAC, and the Big 12 and the Pac-12 will absorb the Big 12, or they'll basically be the Pac-12, the Big 10 who will have the middle, and then the SEC.
It's basically going to be the Northeastern, the West, and the Southwest, and then the Southeast.
Right.
That's basically
exactly.
How it's
so, Show, you are absolutely right. Thank you so much for commenting. And he replied to our comment, and he says, "But super leagues, who knows how this goes?" Completely right. But super conferences are on the horizon now, and he's absolutely right, which is both good and not good. Listen, I like the potential of all the matchups in the coming years of Texas and Alabama and LSU and Oklahoma.
The pendulum is swinging.
Right.
We're swinging. We were used to the middle.
Right.
We were used to the pendulum being smack dab in the middle. 2012 was the last big shakeup with 2012 was the last big shakeup with the Texas A&M leaving the Big 12 and going to
Missouri, and also Nebraska left
Missouri.
that year. Yes.
Yeah. So basically, with the Big East, after the Big East fell apart, then it was 2012. So that was the last big shakeup. Now, Texas decided to, with their big dick energy, to start swinging the pendulum. We're going to the super team. Wait until the small schools gets bored, and they just want to compete with each other because they're tired of going 0 whatever every year. The pendulum will swing back. Just wait. That's all that I'm saying. We're kind of moving on from that.
Dr. Reviews from personal experience. That's quite the name.
And also, 2 of them are capital, like the doctor and reviews are capitalized, but then from personal experiences.
Yeah. So first of all, Dr. Reviews, fix your name.
Yep.
Second, we made the point that Texas would not do well. That Texas would not do well making the transition. Oklahoma would do better because Oklahoma is the better football team right now. And he says here, Texas has out-recruited OU 3 of the last 4 years. And then he gives, like, their Big 12 rank in 18, they were 1, 19, they were 1, 20, they were 1, and 21, they were 2. And then nationally in 18, they were 3, 8, and 15. Dr. Reviews, I don't care. I don't care about their.
Also,
I don't care about their recruiting.
That's trending down.
Oklahoma,
not up.
Oklahoma. They may have out recruited Oklahoma. Do not care because they are the worst football team. Michigan has been a top 12 recruiting team, and look how far that's gotten them. A top 12 recruiting class, and 2 years ago they were top 5. Last year they were top 10. Where do you think that's going to get them? It's going to get them a 3rd place finish in the East. Jim Harbaugh is going to be fired. They're going to be finding a new coach, and we're going to go from there. I'm so smack talking Michigan so bad in hopes that karma will just somehow make them good, right?
Reverse psychology.
Yes.
On them.
I'm using reverse psychology on karma. That's what I'm trying to do.
That's hilarious.
So I do not care, Dr. Reviews, about the recruiting rank. It's the product on their field, and the product on the field tells me that they are head and shoulders below Oklahoma.
Yeah, and we're seeing that. We're also seeing. I'm seeing that Saban isn't going to be at Bama for much.
He
longer.
might be.
Okay, and he might be. He's not old. He hasn't. He's not Lee Corso.
Alabama. Nick Saban has gone through so many coaches that know that he has developed that sense of culture in that Alabama will go out and Nick Saban, when he's about to leave, will groom someone. He will
Yeah,
groom
100%.
someone before they leave, and it will just be. Mark my words. Nick Saban is not going to let his pride and joy, the gemstone of college football, the greatest college dynasty since UCLA basketball way back when, decline just because he leaves.
I do agree that now Texas can recruit in Texas better, but still, you have to translate it onto the field. It doesn't matter.
I think it narrows the gap between Texas and Texas.
This wasn't about winning football games for both schools. It was about the money and bigger footprint for Texas and OU, who already recruit nationally. Texas may be down, but the brand is premium and gets due to the money and resources Texas has at its disposal. Guys,
did you listen to the podcast? They didn't listen to the podcast all the way through, clearly.
Well, yeah, I know that. I looked at the analytics. You're talking about a popular person who's popular because they were popular back in the day. They've held good face. They married well, but now they're just meh. Like, we all like them because they have a good personality and they're fun at parties, but it's not like they're revolutionizing or bringing new games to the parties or introducing us to new things. They come because they're a standard. Texas sucks. Okay?
As of right now,
For
yes.
what Texas wants to do, they suck.
The expectations, they suck. 100%.
The only reason they have the endowment that they do is the Texas oil money because of their alumni. That's the only reason Texas is as good as Texas is. I'm sorry, you suck. Prove me wrong if you want to prove me wrong. Yeah, it should.
I'm tired of people defending really two schools, Texas being one.
Yeah.
And then I'm sort of getting tired of the Michigan defense. At some point, you just got to be like, they suck. And the other team is USC.
Yeah.
So really, it's just the Michigan fan because I'm a disgruntled Michigan fan.
Well, you're not also wrong either.
Right, but it's Texas and USC. And it's funny because the last time they were really both good was that 2004 national championship game where Young, he's going for the corner. He's got it, you know. Right. So at some point, you need to wake up. Yeah, you need to wake up, smell the roses, and realize that you aren't what you used to be.
Because you won the Rose Bowl how many years ago? Almost 15, 16 years ago?
Yeah. 100%. Absolutely. Listen, we are pumped. We are going to relaunch the podcast in a brand new way, starting, and you heard some of the new features that we've had here today that we're going to roll into a new podcast coming to you Friday. The Friday before the first college football game, so that is September 3rd. We're going to release a new edition of the podcast. We're both so excited. Mm-hmm. And so that's on tap. That's something to be looking excited for. We will continue releasing more mini episodes, and then we will do a kind of trial run ahead of week 0, which we are both excited for. Football actually starts tonight. The NFL, the Hall of Fame game, which is basically a whole bunch of lower draft picks just running around the field because no starters really play in this game. But, it's football, and for those heroin football junkies who need a little something to get them through, this is what they got. So we are going to pick dark horses for MVP this year in the National Football League. So here's the deal. The top 2 candidates obviously are Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. However, I would say Tom Brady really isn't an MVP candidate. He's just gonna worry about winning the Super Bowl, not about his stats. Patrick Mahomes is not gonna worry about winning about his stats either, but he needs to put up stats for them to win, which is, kind of the irony there. So the front runner is Patrick Mahomes at plus 200 right now. I don't have all the odds for everyone else. I know my dark horse, but do you have a dark horse?
Aaron Rodgers.
So he's just going to go on a scorched scorched earth tour and burn it all down?
It's 100% what he's going to do.
So he's going to go back-to-back is what you're saying?
Off the top of my head, as of 20 seconds ago, 100%.
Okay, excellent.
Patrick Mahomes is 5-1. Aaron Rodgers is 10-1, so it's not really a dark horse. Josh Allen, also a good actual dark horse, is 12-1. Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, are all the same, 14-1. And also, Lamar Jackson is 16-1. I'm a little bit tired of people thinking Lamar Jackson is the second coming of Michael Vick. He's good. He's not that good yet. He hasn't proven this. To be fair, Michael Vick was a better Johnny Manziel, except also with a better personality, minus the whole dog things.
Michael Vick couldn't throw accurately until late in his career. Michael Vick's early career was about his legs and his legs only.
Yeah.
Now, would it be different if you put young Michael Vick in this day and age? Yeah, absolutely. But I think it would look a lot like Lamar Jackson.
Which is why people are saying he's the second.
Right. So
you're not comparing him to a.
Did Matt Stafford have odds?
Matt Stafford is plus 1,800 according to BetMGM.
Okay, so that's actually my dark horse, Matt Stafford. Listen, the Rams have been a consistent quarterback away from winning the Super Bowl every single year since Sean McVay's gotten there. Jared Goff, in the one great year he had with Sean McVay, that offense was outstanding. It's only going to continue. Matt Stafford, because he's been in Detroit, the place where players' careers go to die, no one knew just how good Matt Stafford's been. Excellent. Yeah. And I think now with the weapons and the scheme in Los Angeles and the O-line and more importantly the defense that has the defensive player of the year, that has 299 overalls on Madden, that being Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey, you're just I think that Matt Stafford's going to put up MVP type numbers. They're going to go 13-3 and he's going to win the MVP.
If I was actually going to do like dark horses, like I had to pick somebody who was going to be a dark horse, I think I'd pick Justin Herbert.
That is Mike Greenberg, who is on ESPN's Get Up. That's his pick for MVP this year.
I think if I was going to pick, he's at plus 2,000. Now, Jalen Hurts is at plus 8,000, so that would actually be a dark horse.
I'm going to go with Kyler Murray.
They are right around each other. So, DraftKings has them $200 off. Basically, they're around $300 off. According to BetMGM, Kyler Murray's plus 1,400, Justin Herbert's plus 2,000. Also, this is a make-or-break year for Baker Mayfield, who's at plus 3,000.
Yeah, but Baker Mayfield doesn't have to win the MVP to. Well, he just has to not turn the ball over. That's all he has to do. He just has to throw for 3,500 yards, 28 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and just let Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and his offensive line and his new improved defense do all the work, and then in clutch situations just be the new Drew Brees and just kill him in between the lines with your mind arm, and that's your brain.
I don't know. I'm interested to see how well Patrick Mahomes does this year as well, but we'll preview the NFL later.
Yeah, absolutely. NBA free agency also happened, or is happening, but really just kicked off Sunday?
Basically, yeah.
I don't remember. Anyway, it kicked off. A lot of things happened. A lot of big names moved. Actually, I do care. I love NBA free agency. Listen, the NBA is...
Number one, how dare you?
the one league. See, I expected, because on Zencaster it would just keep repeating, so I stopped. So I stopped talking, expecting it to do number one. How dare you? Number one. How dare you? Number one. How dare you? Number one. How dare you?
Yeah, I fixed it.
Okay, excellent. NBA free agency is the league, the only league where big stars move on a annual basis, and the tide of power switches from team to team in a blink of an eye, just like that. So I like NBA free agency. However, I don't follow it all that closely. However, I do follow it closely enough to notice two things.
Yeah.
So the Lakers made a trade for Russell Westbrook, and Jeb has.
I'm sorry. Did you see Adam Silver's reaction in reading that trade?
No.
The NBA trades are so convoluted now that nobody understands them. While you say Jed, I'll pull up Adam Silver's.
Okay, so me and Jeb have talked about Russell Westbrook's inability to shoot. He is a very athletic. He's Mr. Triple-Double. He averages triple-doubles all the time. He led the league in assists last year. Problem is, he can't shoot threes. The Lakers were 21st in three-point percentage, in percentage. The Milwaukee Bucks were top 5 and they won the championship. The team who they played against, the Phoenix Suns, were top 5 and were second runner up. The Utah Jazz, who the Suns beat, were in the Western Conference Finals. And the Lakers, they're all top 10. You have to shoot threes in order to win championship. Well, they got a guy in Russell Westbrook, who can't shoot threes, shoots 20-some%. LeBron James is getting old. Anthony Davis. So what this move forces is Russell Westbrook is a point guard. It forces LeBron James to play power forward, which he doesn't want to do. And it forces Anthony Davis to play center, which he doesn't want to do. So now you got two of your two superstars, two of them, are playing a position they don't want to. You added not three-point shooting. Your entire team, 8 players, are 32 years or older. So you're old. Coming off of a season that we're known for injuries, you're having less time because of how late the season finished. Now, they did add Melo, who has improved, who shoots 40% from 3. He has improved. So, but again, old. And Lakers were top 5 defense each of the last 3 years. That's out the window because of how old they are. They got old. They got worse at shooting. Listen, you still got a chance because LeBron's still great and AD's still great. AD's fragile. He's here and there. Russell Westbrook is an animal, but what happens when it's late in games and you got LeBron bringing the ball up the court and Russell Westbrook is going standing in the corner? No one's going to help on Westbrook standing in the corner because they know he can't shoot, so might as well just crowd the paint. Good luck.
Yeah, I was trying to find it started on July 31st. I'm going to share this video then. I 100% agree with you. I'm moving on topics. Before we do that, this is Adam Silva's.
Oh yeah, let me see that. Are you sharing it?
To the Lakers Washington trade.
Okay. Do you got sound?
Oh, can you not hear it?
No.
Hold on.
I can. It's very quiet. It says it's muted in the bottom corner. So while Simeon's trying to figure this out, I will also Chicago made huge deals. They got a new point guard. They got DeMar DeRozan. They got good job. They got DeMar DeRozan. Basically, they made all these moves, spent all this money to finish 5th in the West and have a shot at playing the 76ers in the first round. Continue. There we go.
Congrats. We have a planned trade to announce. As part of a trade to be finalized later, the Los Angeles Lakers will trade the draft rights to Isaiah Jackson, the 22nd pick, to the Indiana Pacers via the Washington Wizards. I'm just reading.
So he has absolutely
no idea what that said. No, and to be fair, I don't either. The NBA moves in order to move around the amount of money that they have to. They're like stockbrokers.
Oh yeah, they're hiding it in player movement. It's ridiculous. It's kind of impressive.
It is very impressive how much they are the rules.
That was the clip of the week.
That happened, and I saw that, and made Adam Silva like, okay, he went up a few notches in my book because that's how he reacted.
That's the clip of the week.
Yeah.
That's the clip of the week
what
right
was
there.
Steph Curry's new contract?
4 years, $215 million.
Yeah, you overpaid the dude. Now
he's 33, so this will take him to 37.
Yeah, in which he'll be done. He'll either retire or get
first player ever to sign two $200 million plus contracts in NBA history.
He's probably the richest player in NBA history, besides
LeBron?
From a contract perspective. Besides LeBron, and I don't even think LeBron had as many big contracts.
No, because LeBron, even when he went when he came back from Cleveland or when he came back from Miami and then went to Miami, his was only around like $100 million. Yeah. He's never signed that massive deal. No.
Yeah. So it's weird. You overpaid a guy. I mean, you're hoping I'm looking at the roster. I don't know if these are even up to date with the free agency moves. I'm looking at, oh no, there it is. I found it. For the roster for what they brought up. They brought in Jordan Bell. And
they had him.
Did they? I don't think they did. I thought they just brought him in free. Oh wait, no, that was their new draft pick? I don't forget. Anyway, trying to think of who they didn't really bring anybody in. I think they re-signed Andrew Wiggins. I'm thinking of Jordan Poole, I think. I don't know what their off-season moves were. And you just took that big of a cap hit?
They're really, I think they're really expecting Steph and Clay to really kind of do what we thought that they would do, which is shoot a lot, score a bunch, play great defense, and, see how it goes. Listen, I think with Clay, if everything cooks and Steph is on his MVP type level, shooting wise, Clay's going to be right there. Clay's got a lot to prove. Listen, this is a 3 or 4 seed in the West. They still need another piece, I feel. Now, I don't know who they drafted, but they had 2 top 15 picks. So I would hope it would be someone who could help them. They reached out about Ben Simmons, and the Sixers wanted a James Harden type package, so they wanted James Wiseman and Andrew Wiggins and 4 first round draft picks, and the Warriors laughed in their face, which they should, because Ben Simmons' stock right now sucks.
Yeah, they traded Jonathan Kuminga, I'm guessing is how you pronounce that.
Yeah, no, you got it.
He played for the G League Ignite out of high school. What's his position? Power forward, small forward.
They traded him for who?
No, they drafted him. Sorry.
Oh no, that's actually good. Yeah, he's a better Draymond Green.
Basically, and they also traded. They also drafted Moses Moody.
I have no idea who that is.
He was a pretty good shooting guard prospect for where he fell in the draft from Arkansas.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
Well, there we go.
Okay, here, just to show a point before we wrap it up here.
Sure.
18th pick overall, Trey Mann. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sophomore point guard out of Florida. He was drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder from Miami via Phoenix to Philadelphia to the LA Clippers. That's the type of things, the moves.
So he ended up at the Clippers.
I think. Let's see. No, he's ended up at the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so let's try to break this down. Okay,
Yeah,
so hit me with it again.
Okay, so he. Oh, I have the breakdown here. So he was drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder from Miami via Phoenix. So
it was originally Miami's pick that they got from Phoenix.
Yeah, Miami Heat to the Phoenix Sun in a 3-team trade. This is in 2015 with the Pelicans.
Oh.
Okay, that was the Gordon and Zoran Dragic deal.
Oh my gosh, that was like 6 years ago.
Yep. That was that deal. Okay, so that explains from the Heat via Phoenix.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in 2018, the Phoenix Suns for Zaire Smith and a first-round pick traded. That's what Philly acquired in 2018. That was Phoenix Suns to the 76ers, which also was Miami's first-round pick. Philly received that. Okay. Then, when Philly sent Landry Shamet, Wilson Chandler, and Mike Musakala, and Miami's first-round pick, and a protected 2020 first-round pick, and a 2021 and 23, that was the Tobias Harris deal, and the Boban deal.
Yeah.
So in that deal, Philly sent Miami's pick to the Clippers. Okay, so that's how the Clippers got it.
Why do we have to trade? Why do we have to keep tabs on where they got this pick from? What does it matter?
This is just funny to me. So the Paul George trade,
Yeah.
that's the trade that landed Trey Mann to Oklahoma City Thunder.
But this pick is from 6 years ago.
Yeah.
This pick is a first round pick from 2015.
From Miami.
Oh my god.
But it went through 3 teams
Okay,
to get
no,
to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
100%. I'm not laughing because my brain hurts and I just got off working a 10-hour day, but that is hilarious.
Yeah.
But NBA, why can't we just be like, okay, they just got this pick from LA? Like, why can't we? Why do we have to back trace it all the way to the original source? Like, who cares?
Okay, so the Isaiah Jackson deal, I want to see if I can't read this.
Okay.
I want to see if I can't figure. So this was all this year. So it was Washington acquired the draft rights to Isaiah Jackson,
Okay.
Kyle Kuzma, and Caldwell Pope and Montreal
From
Harris.
LA.
Yeah, and that's when they acquired that. They acquired that from LA.
Okay. That one's easy. Where did LA acquire that from?
No, I'm trying to. Indiana acquired the draft rights to Isaiah Jackson. Washington acquired Aaron and the draft rights to Isaiah Todd. What? I'm trying to figure out how he ended up in Los Angeles. He ended up in Los Angeles.
Wait. So he was drafted by the Wizards, but is a member of the Lakers.
Indiana acquired the draft rights to Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Todd.
No. Washington and the draft rights acquired Aaron Holiday and draft rights to Isaiah Todd.
Okay.
Okay. I think that was the first piece. That was
from where? Indiana?
Washington. Yes, from Indiana. So
Okay.
Washington traded basically pick 22 to the Indiana Pacers
Sure.
for Isaiah Todd and Aaron Holiday.
Okay.
Then this says that the Washington acquired draft rights of Isaiah Jackson, who was 2022, Kyle Kuzma, Caldwell Pope, and Mo Harrell.
Hawkless?
Yeah.
Oh, Montrezl Harrell.
Montrezl Harrell. Sorry, Harrell. But how did you end up at the Lakers? Or did you not actually end up at the Lakers? You ended up in Indiana! What? Okay, no, we're done. We're done.
All right.
We're moving on.
Alrighty.
We're moving
Excellent.
on.
Alrighty. Well, as always, we are the worstest podcast on the internet. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify. Again, you can find all of our links at anchor.fm/4th and 1, or if you search for us on Spotify, search 4th and 1 podcast. podcast. You got to throw that podcast in there to find us. Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. We look forward to talking to you guys again soon. We're getting ready for college football. It's a great day. Football is back. Simeon figured out his headset and his brain hurts. And I'm just ready for dinner. Thank you, everyone. As always, wash your hands, you filthy animals. Have a conversation and not a crucifixion. God bless and peace out.
Peace.